Hello friends, welcome back to math. Today you and I are going to compare numbers using place value. Now before we actually jump into our lesson, we have a few vocab words that we need to talk about today. So our first vocab word is compare. Now when you compare numbers, you find out if a number is greater than, less than, or equal to another number. So you are looking at them and saying which one is bigger, which one is smaller, or are they the same? To do that, we have a couple different symbols that we use. Let me show you. We have this, and an equal sign to help us compare. When we want to say that a number is greater than, we use this sign, and we would say 325. We would read it like this. We would say 325 is greater than 100. So to say that two numbers are greater than, the greater than number, the bigger number, would be over here with the opening pointing towards it in our symbol. And this says 325 is greater than 100. Okay. If we want to say that a number is less than, we say this. 100 is less than 325. Now the reason our direction of our symbol is changing, our greater than and less than signs, is because it is pointing towards the bigger number. It just depends which one you put first. So over here we have 325 first as we read it. 325 is greater than 100. Over here 100 is first. So we say 100 is less than 325. The opening on our greater than and less than symbols are always pointing towards the bigger number. And then finally, if we have two numbers and they have the same value, which means they are the same, we would say 5 is the same as 5, or 5 equals 5. That's how we use our equal sign. So those are the three different ways that we're going to be comparing numbers today: greater than, less than, and equal to. Let's watch our visual learning video to learn more.
How can you compare three-digit numbers using place value? Think about this question during this lesson. Compare 325 and 225. Compare the hundreds first. 300 is greater than 200. So 325 is greater than 225. The symbol means is greater than. When you compare two three-digit numbers, why do you start by comparing the hundreds digits? The hundreds digits have the greatest place value. If the hundreds digits are not the same, then what do you know about the two numbers you are comparing? Do you need to compare the other digits?
If the hundreds place is way bigger in one number, then we don't have to compare the other digits. But if the hundreds are the same, if it's 300 and 300, then we have to keep working our way to the tens and the ones to compare to decide which number is bigger or if they're equal to each other.
The number with more hundreds is the greater number. You do not need to compare the other digits. Compare 736 and 756. The hundreds are equal, so compare the tens. 30 is less than 50, so 736 is less than 756. The symbol means is less than. How can you also use greater than to compare these two numbers?
Let's try it. We're going to show two different ways to compare 756 and 736. So we have 756 is something compared to 736. Well, we know that 756 is bigger, it's greater. So one way we could do it is we could say 756 is greater than 736. And to show that with our symbol, we would move this one over here, so that way the opening is pointing towards 756 because it is the bigger number. If we flip-flop our numbers and we have 736 is something compared to 756, we would say 736 is less than 756. And our symbol would have to still point towards 756, but because it's on the other side, we're going to point our symbol the other direction to show less than.
You can say that 756 is greater than 736.
In both comparisons, 756 is the greater number.
Compare 897 and 897. If the hundreds digits and the tens digits are the same in both numbers, then what should you compare next?
We should compare the ones next.
The ones digits. What do you notice about the ones digits?
They're the same.
The ones digits are also the same. If all digits are the same, the numbers are equal. What symbol should you use to compare the numbers?
Select your answer.
Well, neither number is greater than the other one. Neither number is smaller or less than the other one. So we would say that they are equal or the same.
The hundreds, the tens, and the ones are equal. 897 is equal to 897. You can use the equals symbol. Now you know how to compare numbers using place value.
Let's go practice in our workbooks. Okay, we're going to do the guided practice problems on page 554. So make sure that's the page you're on and you have your pencil ready. And once you're ready, you can pause me or unpause me, and then we'll do this together. So it says compare, write greater than, less than, or equal to, then write greater than, less than, or equal to in the symbols. So here's our two numbers first. We have 264 and 178. So first, I'm going to put them in our place value charts here. 264 and then 178. Notice that I am lining up my place values. So these are the hundreds, those are the tens, these are the ones. Now let's look at our hundreds first because it has the greatest value. Is one of the numbers bigger than the other? Yeah, 2 is greater than 1, so 200 is greater than 100, which means we already know that 264 is greater than 178. So we're going to write that out. We're going to say 264 is greater than 168. And I type mine out, but you're just going to write over their little symbols there. Okay. So now that we know what the answer is, we just need to figure out which symbol to use. So we need to find the symbol that would be pointing towards 264. So it would be this symbol, the greater than symbol. And this is how we would read that. 264 is greater than 178. Let's do number 2. We have 816 and 819. Let's line them up first in our hundreds chart. So 816, 819. Ooh, these numbers are very close, friends. So let's look at the hundreds first. Are they the same or is one bigger? They're the same. The tens, they're the same too. So we have to come all the way down to the ones. We have 6 and 9. Which one's bigger? 9, which means 819 is the bigger number. So let's figure out how we should write this. 816 is it greater than or less than 819? It's less than, because we figured out that 819 is the bigger number. So we're going to say less than. Okay. Make sure you're doing this all with me, friends. So this is our sentence. 816 is less than 819. Now we have to pick our symbol. So we have our two numbers here. Our symbol needs to be open towards 819 because that's the bigger number. So we're going to use the less than symbol, just like that. Great job. Let's go watch our other quick video.
Look at these two numbers here. 247 and 234. I want to compare them. In other words, I want to know which number is greater. But where do I start? I'll start with the digit that has the greatest place value and move to the digit that has the least place value. So let's compare the hundreds first. Both numbers have a 2 in the hundreds place. 2 is equal to 2. That doesn't help me. So I'll move on to the tens. 4 and 3. Well, 3 is less than 4. So this means that 234 is less than 247. We use the less than symbol to show this. We can also say this as 247 is greater than 234. This time, we use the greater than symbol. Let's compare these two numbers. Wait a minute. The hundreds, tens, and ones are all the same. So the two numbers must be equal to each other. 526 is equal to 526. By looking at place values starting from the greatest and moving to the least, you can compare any two numbers anytime you want.
Okay, let's keep practicing. Let's turn that page. You and I are going to do number 3 together. Let's look at it. So we are still comparing. We're writing greater than, less than, or equal to, and we're writing our symbols. So we have over here first 572 and 577. So if I look at my hundreds, I have a 5 and a 5. Well, those are the same, so that doesn't tell us our answer. Let's look at the tens. We have a 7 and a 7. Well, those are the same, so that doesn't tell us our answer. Now we're down to the ones. We have a 2 and a 7. Okay, which one is bigger, 2 or 7? 7. So that means 577 is the bigger number. So we need to write out our sentence like this. 572 is to 577. Would it be greater than or less than 577? It's less than. So we would say 572 is less than 577. Now we just have to pick out our symbol. Our symbol needs to be pointing open towards the bigger number, which is 577. So we're going to use that less than symbol. 572 is less than 577. I want you to do number 4. So pause me, write out greater than, less than, or equal to, and your symbol, and then come back when you have it all done. Okay, we have 256 and 243. Let's look at the hundreds first. We have 2 and 2. Those are the same, so we have to go to the tens. 5 and 4. Which one's bigger, 5 or 4? 5. So that means 256 would be the bigger number. So we're going to say 256 is greater than 243. And now we have to figure out our symbol. It needs to be open towards the bigger number, which is 256. So we have to use the greater than sign, pointing this way. Let's do number 6 together. We have 486 and 468. Be very careful, they look very similar, almost the same. So let's look at the hundreds. 4 and 4, those are the same, we have to go to the tens. 8 and 6, okay, those are different, so which one is bigger, 8 or 6? 8 is bigger, so which number is bigger? 486 would be the bigger number. So we're going to say 486 is greater than 468, and then we have to draw our symbol pointing towards 486, so the greater than symbol. You're going to do number 7 by yourself. Pause me, write your answers down, and come back when you're done. Okay, let's look at those numbers. 208, 208. Well, my hundreds are both 2s, my tens are both 0s, my ones are both 8s, so those numbers are the same. So I'm going to say 208 is equal to 208. They are the same. So I'm going to put an equal sign in between them. Let's go down to number 9. Okay, number 9, 821 and 821. I think we have the same thing going on down here as we did up at number 7. We have an 8 in the hundreds place, we have 2s in the tens place, and we have 1s in the ones place. So those numbers are the same. So again, we're going to say 821 is equal to 821. Pretty easy. And then to show that they're equal, we need an equal sign in our circle here. I want you to do number 10. Be very careful. They look very similar. Write out greater than, less than, or equal to. Find your symbol and come back to me when you have it all figured out. Okay, let's check. 347 and 437. Same digits, just in different places. So we have a 3 in the hundreds and a 4 in the hundreds. Okay, well, which one's bigger, 3 or 4? 4 is. So that means 437 is the bigger number. So we have to write this out. 347 is it greater than or less than 437? Less than. So we're going to say 347 is less than 437. And our opening of our symbol has to point towards the bigger number, which is 437. So we have to use our less than sign. We're going to turn the page and do 2 more quick problems together, friends. Let's look at number 13. Ming sells 319 tickets. Josie sells 315 tickets. Who sells more tickets? So we need to compare 319 and 315. So let's look at our 2 numbers. We have 3s in the hundreds place in both numbers. We have 1s in the tens place in both numbers. Let's look at the 1s. We have a 9 and a 5. Which one is bigger, 9 or 5? 9 is bigger, so that means 319 is the bigger number. So we're going to draw our symbol open towards 319. So we would read it like this. 319 is greater than 315. So who sold more tickets? Was it Ming or Josie? It was Ming. So we're going to say Ming sells more tickets. Good job. Let's look at number 14, and then you guys are going to solve it. Jared earned 189 pennies doing chores. Tara earned 200 pennies doing chores. Who earned more pennies? So you are going to compare 189 and 200. Take your time, draw your symbol, write out who you think has more, and then come back to me when you have it all done. Okay, let's look. We're going to look at the hundreds place first. I have a 1, and then I have a 2 in the hundreds place. Well, is 1 or is 2 bigger? 2 is bigger, so that means 200 is the greater number. So I'm going to point my symbol towards the 200 because it's bigger. And then now I need to decide who actually earned more pennies. So is that Tara or is that Jared? That's Tara, because Tara earned 200 pennies. So I'm going to say Tara earned more pennies. Great job, you guys. Take your time as you are comparing numbers. Make sure you're being very careful to match up the hundreds, the tens, and the ones in the 2 numbers that you are comparing. Make sure that your symbols for greater than and less than are always pointing towards the bigger number. I always have it in the back of my mind that if this was a mouth, it would want to be eating the bigger number because that would be more food. Okay, just a little tip to help you out. Let's look at that homework for today. Okay, here's what I want you to do today. You're going to go back into the workbook to page 555, where we just were, and you're going to do these 4 problems. Number 5, number 8, number 11, and number 16. Then do your quick check, and after that, spend some time on MathFacts Pro practicing that addition and subtraction so you get faster and faster. Tomorrow when we come back, I'm going to be teaching you a brand new game to help you review the skills that we've been learning. So I will see you then, friends. Bye.